Hello, welcome back to the Mervyn League podcast. Guys, how are we doing? John, Ash, hello.
Hello, Ben. It's
Hello,
good to be back.
hello. Oh, John, we missed you last week.
I feel like I've
great to have
got
you back.
big boots to fill, big total 90 boots to fill.
Oh,
Total 90
yes.
Astros, probably.
Oh,
Astros,
yes.
Tiempos.
Lovely.
Total 90 is making a comeback, I saw the other day, by the way.
Yeah.
Like a reissue kind of thing.
Yeah, and the
Nostalgia.
Predators. Everyone's wearing the Predators now, aren't they?
Yeah, Jude wears Predators.
Yeah.
Kane's got some terrible boots, like Under Armour or something.
Oh, well, let's save Kane's terrible boots for just a moment. We are going to talk through, after last week's watch-along that we had, the dire first half didn't massively improve as England just about scraped their way through with the Jude Bellingham 95th minute or something. But England managed to get themselves back in the game, extra time, and then a win with a Harry Kane header, which sees England go through. And that, I think, is where we're going to start today. Ash, what were your thoughts? England, Slovakia. What do you think?
Painful. Very painful. Yeah. I'm very pleased, very relieved, happy for the lads. But a lot of questions, not many answers. Maybe one answer we got is that Jude Bellingham is the man. He is him. Or whatever people say. The big players, they step up. And Harry Kane criticised, as always, but he scored 2 goals in this tournament so far. And there is something in that.
Yeah. John, your quick reactions, England, Slovakia, what were the highlights for you?
It was like watching a slow motion car crash, doom spiral, that all happened very slowly. And you knew they all wanted it. You could kind of feel it a bit that they were like, they wanted it, but they had absolutely no way of giving it until that just one. I mean, it is lucky, really, to have that chance presented. But the way he took it was absolutely, if you think about the circumstance, it was absolutely clinical. And suddenly the whole narrative changes. Suddenly Southgate still there, Kane still there.
Yeah, you've got to be in it to win it. And Jude Bellingham certainly was. He was in the right place, got that goal. And England are still in it to win it. They're on that easier side of the draw. Switzerland, the next opponents. But, John, just lovely to pick up on that point. You said Southgate is still there. We could be right now. Let's just imagine England lost. They didn't make it through. We could be right now thinking, who's going to be the next England manager? What do we think this does for Gareth Southgate?
Well, it's a lifeline for him, isn't it? It was strange because the whole time you were preparing yourself for this is his legacy, this is how it's written. And then there we go. It's a fickle thing, football, sometimes.
Yeah, halftime boos that turned into raucous celebrations at the end.
Massive Sweet Caroline.
Yes, exactly. I mean...
How many... sorry.
No, go on, John.
How many more M&S polos do you reckon he's got freshly ironed?
One for each match day.
He's packed for the full tournament. He backs himself.
Yeah. Do you think he needs to bring the waistcoat back? Do you think maybe that's why England haven't quite got the bite? Because we're missing the waistcoat.
We've lacked bite. I'm going to say we haven't really had much bite in any of the tournaments that Gareth Southgate has managed in. It's not that we've been terrible. We've been very efficient, but it's not pretty.
Wow.
And in a way, this is a continuation of this. We're still undefeated. On paper, if you look at the results, it's nothing to be that worried about. But I don't know. It's so boring. It's difficult. It's a very difficult watch.
Yeah, it really, really is. Let's see if we can find some positives from this. Firstly, England, they are still in it. we've talked about tournament football, we've talked about composure, we've talked about being hard to break down, hard to beat, and so far, maybe without the composure, but England, you could say, have had those things. They are still in it, so that's a positive. We're pleased with that. I suppose also we could say the who we have, star players who can produce moments of magic. And it seems as if the unity within the squad is quite good. So surely, Ash, it's not that bad. Might be boring, but if we're going to win...
Yeah, no, it's absolutely not that bad. I think if we were watching club football and this was our football club, we'd be quite happy with the results. But when it comes to England, the expectations are different. It's partly looking player for player when we compare the England team to the Slovakian team, for example. But maybe that's just a little bit disrespectful. So it is very easy to be doom and gloom about England. But if this was Plymouth Argyle or anyone supporting their football club, they'd be pretty happy with the results.
John, for those who are listening...
Would you take it as a Bournemouth fan?
Oh my god! Do you know what? Well, this is what I was just going to pose to John. For those who are listening on the podcast, audio only, John's got his Arsenal shirt on. Would you, as an Arsenal fan, be happy with these results and the performances, or would you rather good performances and the results, win, lose, doesn't matter? It's the performances that count.
Well, you can't be dissatisfied with the results, can you, I suppose? That's one thing. They are where they are now, and they've got a quarter-final coming up. You would think, the thing is, you would think the way they've played so far, they haven't got a hope and a prayer against Switzerland. If they play like they have done. But then again, that's just not how it works. So,
But if Arsenal, if Arsenal were playing like this, would you be happy with it? Even if they're winning? Would there be a part of you that's like, no, why not?
Well, I don't know.
What about in the Champions League? Would you take it in the Champions League?
Yes, potentially.
Ooh,
I just think the way they seem to, the way we talk about the team is we are so reliant on those individual moments at the moment, and there's no conversation about the players' conversations on the pitch, the way they converse with one another, the link up.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes a player works to aid another player. And here's the segue to the badge, to Bukayo Saka. He was the man who was redeployed to his position of 3 years ago, which he only ever played in a back five as more of a wing back anyway. But he did it, didn't he? He did it and he did well and he started to link up. You could see him working it out on the pitch, working out what to do. But he's a man who, he's used to being tackled, and so he always looks for an outlet and he wants to give and go.
Yeah.
Trouble is, how much give and go do we see with England? Barely any. And what do we hope for as fans and pundits? We say, bring this player on because they can change it themselves. This player, they can do that. And it happened. It happened with Bellingham at the end. But that if we continue with that kind of mentality on and off the pitch, then it's going to run out of legs.
Oh, John, it's good to have you back. Look at that. Sticking up for Saka. Individual brilliance, and he's brought a piece of his own. Well, let's talk about individual brilliance. Let's talk about Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham, so much has been in the news about him post-game.
Who else?
Yeah,
exactly. Who else? He's doing the sort of, he's hearing the chat, but he's blocking it out. And what's the line he said in his post-match interview? Who writes the scripts? I do. I mean...
It's pure arrogance. There's no false humility with him, and I mean, thing is, he is good.
Yeah,
but you need that.
It's refreshing.
That arrogance, that confidence, that the big cojones, as he may have been referencing to that Slovakian bench.
As he showed to the Slovakian.
He really
Ash,
he grabbed his vegetables.
Yeah, the bull by the horns, so to speak. Ash, there's talk about him getting disciplinary action for a gesture which he palmed off as a jovial gesture, an in-joke between friends. Do you think he's going to get banned?
No, I can't speak for UEFA, but to some extent, you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Yeah.
So if he does get suspended, that it is what it is. But I wouldn't want to take that away from him. He needs those literal and metaphorical cojones to be where he is. The best players have metaphorical cojones.
Massive King Canutes.
I mean, if we look at Ronaldo, I feel like he's been a little bit castrated, but I'm sure we'll come on to that in a moment.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to come on to Ronaldo, but that might be spicy.
Okay. Well,
that might be spicy. You might be, outnumbered here, Ben. But
no. Let's. I want to talk about that Bellingham goal. Yes, Harry Kane scored. Yes, we got through. Well done, everybody. But that Bellingham goal. Okay, I had the joy this weekend of watching that. Well, I say the joy. This part was the joy. Watching the game with my son, my 6-year-old son, and that goal felt like a special goal, and that's a goal that I'm certainly going to remember. And it's one that I hope that he'll look back and see montages of and be like, oh, I remember that goal. But I just wondered, where does this fit in your England history of goals? Where is it, like, was this the best goal that you've ever seen an England player score? What other ones spring to mind for you, John?
Well, I think it is going to depend largely on the context, but I think that context will only be finished once the tournament's finished. It could be absolutely iconic if we do go on to the final.
Do you not think it's iconic already? Given
that
I do. England have been so dire.
It has a level of icon.
Yeah.
It does, but then if say hypothetically we lose 2-0 to Switzerland and Bellingham doesn't do much, I don't know if it'd be as iconic.
Okay.
I don't know. Ash, recency bias, though, it is the most iconic England goal ever.
What about you? What do you think of it?
It's up there with David Beckham versus Greece. For me.
That's one of
that was iconic, but it literally didn't win us anything. It just qualified us for the World Cup. So actually looking back, it wasn't that big a deal. Yeah. But it was still iconic. I'm not taking away from it too much.
But that was to get through. That was still to sort of win.
Not a big deal.
Something.
Oh, I don't agree with that one.
Yeah.
That was...
If it was World Cup semi-final, if this was, I don't know, Maradona goals, 1986 level stuff, then we're talking.
All right, so
something for the ages. But it's Greece.
Yeah,
it's good. So, but it's only Greece.
Jude Bellingham, nice goal, but make it count. We need to see the rest. Okay, let's move on to England. Are going to play Switzerland in the next round. And what I want to know from you, Ash, is what do England need to do differently to beat Switzerland?
Clarity of attacking approach. Clarity of what they're going to do with the ball when they have it. And I think that's the biggest thing is they get the ball and they're unsure who the runners are going to be, who's going to be doing what. It is like it feels like it's a personnel structure. They just put the players out there and hope that that they do something good themselves. Maybe take on a few players, but just some clarity, whatever it may be. It may be get a big guy in the box. It could be, at least there's something they're working towards. Clarity is what we need.
Yeah,
I think.
Switzerland. Ash, hard to break down. Pleasing on the eye. They certainly showed Italy what they can do. How do you rate England's chances?
I go 50-50 on this one.
You're going to take it all the way to extra time?
Can't see us conceding many. I see this one being pretty low scoring, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's going to be another moment similar to what we've seen. We might rely on another 94th minute save or something like that.
I've got a level of optimism in me about it.
Yeah,
actually.
Go on then. Tell us.
Well, I think the whole tournament, England have been anchored down by the badge. They've been absolutely weighed down by the expectation and probably their own lofty expectations. And they haven't played.
They've been set free.
Kind of, well, this is what I'm potentially. A part of me thinks perhaps, because it was quite an outlet. Quite like a release valve moment. because I don't know. I do actually think it could turn around quite quickly if they get a sniff of confidence and a sniff of clarity. I do think that could be tunnel vision. I think, I don't know.
You think it's going to click?
But I don't know. That's the optimistic view.
John, we'll keep it going. Keep this view going. What would you change, or maybe who would you change for this next game?
I don't know. I've never really had much of a problem with the starting 11s, and everything that I've just said applies. And I almost think the players that have played, I don't know. Because I would keep it more or less the same, and I would bring Cole Palmer on. But I know that's not going to happen now. There's so much perhaps rightly so. There's a lot of clamour for him to start. But I still think you have a lot of impact if you come on, even in the 70th minute in these international games. And sometimes you can be even more impactful coming on then rather than starting. So
strength and depth for sure. So are you going back to Trent in midfield? Are you going with Gallagher in midfield, or are you going with Cobby?
I'd start Mainu again. Yeah, I'd go Mainu and Rice again. To be honest, even though they weren't great, I don't think it can change. I mean, I think you ready for this? I think Declan Rice was very good again.
Yeah, he was quite good. Yeah,
we can't cope without him. I don't think for sure. The amount of balls he wins back. And it was almost his moment. Let's not forget. It was very almost his moment.
Hit the post, didn't he? But I think, John, your badge is showing as you say that. So why don't we park England? White? Let's park England there. Tough opponents in Switzerland, but we are behind the boys, and we're going to cheer them on just as we do and hope for a big result. But why don't we move on to some of the other games and some of the other games that have already been penciled in that are coming up. And oh my goodness, there are some tasty ties.
Do we have some mouth-watering ones?
Absolutely. This is something to whet your appetite.
Oh, I'm salivating.
Chomping at the bit here.
So the next quarterfinals, we have got, oh my goodness, quite possibly tie of the tournament so far. Spain versus Germany to come.
Oh, crikey.
Are we mad by saying that this is quite possibly this feels criminal to be so early in the tournament to have this game?
They've been the two standout teams, so yeah, probably it is.
Yeah,
they've definitely been the best two teams.
Germany were your.
I'm not shocked at all. Well, I just thought before the tournament they had the right level of anchored down by the badgeness, as in
the opposite of England.
It felt like they'd got a little bit of momentum just at the right time. They had a good mix of experience and the exuberance of youth. And I felt like they had the right levels of understanding from the fans and expectation.
Do you think they've slightly come off the boil a little bit? Do you think as the tournament's progressed, it's just gone a little bit harder? Because I don't think they've been impressive as the group stages. Still been good.
Yeah, but I think they're still as they were, to be honest. They might lack, there are a few positions where they lack the absolute star quality. But I think they've more than made up for that. They seem to be quite unified as a team. Yeah. And I actually think they're going to win. So.
Oh, Ash. Speaking of star quality, star power, what's happened to Thomas Muller? Friend of the podcast.
To be honest,
we've not seen him. Where's he been?
He's hanging out with Jordan Henderson, I reckon.
Ash, Spain are the.
He's there buoying the lads up.
He's cheering them on from the sidelines. Spain are the opponents, and they have been red hot. Do you see them cooling off in this game, or do you see them just continuing?
Now, they have been red hot, but are they a little lightweight at the back? and I only say a little because they're still good, but against Georgia, there were some glimpses of some frailties at the back there.
Yeah.
Le Normand, I hope I'm pronouncing that well or
And
well
Laporte.
enough.
Two French.
The two French centre backs, the French B team. They at times looked a little exposed at the back there. Now Georgia were electric in the counterattacks, but they only counterattacked maybe a dozen times the whole match. So against Germany, can they really sustain that? I'm not sure. That's the only area I would question them. Otherwise, they are fantastic.
You would expect
they're brilliant to watch.
You would expect them to have the lion's share of the ball, wouldn't you? And pass it around, this and that. But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they've looked.
That's the only question mark for me because, very impressive. Very impressive. Yeah. Where do you see this one, Ben?
Sorry?
Where do you see this one going?
Do you know what? I think it's. I think I'm still going to go with Spain. I think they're going to win because I don't think Germany are going to be as direct as Georgia were, and I think that's where the defensive frailties came from. I think because when they were suddenly put under the pressure, it was because they were like right in the faces, and they were big. Big personalities, big bodies that were in their faces, and I think Germany,
low socks,
but they're high skill. I think they're probably slightly more stand up against each other rather than I'm going to be direct and run at you. I mean, Musiala's probably the exception to the rule, but I do think they're going to have Spain too much about them. Their wide play is phenomenal. The balls that they can get into the box and the speed at which that they move in transition. I think even for Germany, that's going to be too much. It'd be interesting to see how Toni Kroos approaches this game because we've seen him have a lot of space, create and dictate play, but is he going to be able to do that when he's got speedy Spaniards right on his toes?
I think he's used to it, right? Real Madrid, El Clasico.
Well, is he used to it?
Could be a similar situation to El Clasico, to be honest. As in of your, not currently.
Yes, yeah, I see that point. But no, I think it's going to be Spain who are going to win this one.
They have been very good.
I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say 2-0 to Spain. I think they're that good. They are that good. Lamine Yamal, John, you were singing his praises in earlier episodes, and he's really searching for that goal, isn't he? But my goodness, is he still a team player and contributing in all areas of the pitch?
He is, yeah. He's dynamic, isn't he? He's got such quick feet, and he's got complete clarity of mind. He's just playing football. He's just looking straight ahead. There's no anchors on him whatsoever. No sandbags.
No.
Full flow, technical, quick. Yeah, I mean, he's very, very good.
And then when you've got Nico Williams on the other side as well, who is...
Yeah, he's been so impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Electric players, dynamic.
So let's move on from quite possibly what's going to be the best quarterfinal ever to possibly one of the hardest games, one of the slowest, may I even say one of the worst quarterfinals ever in terms of this tournament only. France are going to play Portugal.
No, that's box office.
Yeah, that's characters. That's egos.
That's big. It's characters. Yeah, this is WWE. This is like big names.
This is Al Pacino, De Niro,
Royal Rumble. Wow. Go on then, Ash. Why should we tune into this one?
Ronaldo was so entertaining in that Slovenia game. So entertaining. We were discussing his sort of how he reminded us of an aging Elvis playing Las Vegas, eating too many cheeseburgers.
Yeah, you can't say actually fat Elvis because it was an addiction and you can't stigmatize it.
Yeah.
So for everyone
every time he was...
For everyone at home, whilst we were watching this game in our respective places last night, a fantastic conversation between John and Ash erupted on our WhatsApp. And we had terriers, we had wolves, we had old Elvis. Ash, can you just run down who are the protagonists? Who are these characters? We've got Ronaldo's the aging Elvis. What else was happening? This was a great read during the game.
Yeah, well, every time he took a free kick, it was like Elvis mumbling his way through a song. One more night in Vegas, but it's still Elvis.
Yeah, it might be
the people who paid their money. Yeah, the people who paid their money. It's okay. It's not Elvis with the hips, but it's still Elvis. It's still magical. And then, of course, with the terriers of Slovenia. I don't know what their national animal is, but it's, I don't know, tenacious would be the word.
They snapped, they barked, they worked hard. They didn't give up. They didn't relent.
Dogs. Yeah.
But they had no bite.
And they had the big wolf in goal.
Yeah.
The big calm wolf, wasn't he? He was a picture of calm.
Leader of the pack.
Leader of the pack.
And that was a game that was really, really decided by two goalkeepers, wasn't it? Fantastic moments, like ups, downs, highs, lows, everything between. Like that penalty shootout, 3 penalty saves. But that's what's been. That's what's been France, Portugal. John, can you see? Can you see a France win here? They've only scored 1 goal in open play. Yeah. How are they going to crack this up?
There's a bit of sandbags here. There's a bit of anchors about the French team, unfortunately, particularly on Mbappe. I think even before he wore the face mask, he looked to me a bit too weighed down by the captaincy and everything going on. He wasn't like electric Mbappe. But now, obviously, they have, as I alluded to before, there is dragged into them a bit of a political backdrop, which has become an extra bit of baggage and backstory. Maybe they'll wield that in the right way. There seems a lot of determination there. But yeah, boy, have they got the players. They've got. We think we've got a crop of talent. Their crop of talent is so deep, and they happen to have the best player in the world. So
yeah, quite possibly. You know, Kylian Mbappe coming off of a disappointing Champions League campaign with PSG, making that free agent signing to Real Madrid. Like, are all those things, do you think, weighing on his mind? And then the expectation of this going into his new club off the back of a potential Euros win, Ballon d'Or. Is he just thinking too much? Does he just need to stick to playing football?
Yeah, maybe. I feel for him. I don't know. I think he still has the potential to tear that script up and rip through it, but he does look to me a little bit, not smiling as much as you'd like to see him smiling, perhaps.
No. Maybe he needs to see if Jude Bellingham's available for a script writing session. Ash, on these big names, Ronaldo and Mbappe, are they actually the issue in these respective teams? If you took them out?
Well, a very different... Well, yeah, go on, Ashley.
Mbappe is still the beating heart of that French team. And whilst he hasn't had the best Euros, you still feel like he's on the precipice of bagging 4 or 5 goals in a match. He still feels like it's still Mbappe. Yeah. Ronaldo, I don't know how the rest of his teammates see him. I mean, I'm sure they
are they Elvis
love
fans? Do they love the old hits? Or are they just had enough of? Have they heard it too many times? Have they watched that free kick?
Yeah,
you know, that sniff, the exhale, the arms, blazing it into the road, whatever.
Yeah, those free kicks were progressively getting worse and worse throughout that match. He's not a team player, is he, Ronaldo? He still played actually quite well. He's been influential in games. But yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. Really weird the way he cried at the end of the match there. that's not the Ronaldo we're used to seeing, really. He's normally someone who shrugs off
a sarcastic smile,
moments
a wink.
Yeah.
A shrug, a sarcastic shrug, and a telling off to the linesman.
Yeah.
So
that was a man who... That was a broken man.
Yeah. And do you think... obviously, he's been playing in the Saudi Pro League, where, I mean, no matter what league you put him in, he's arguably one of, if not still, the best player in it. But do you think, because the standard there is potentially a lot lower, coming back to something like this, do you think this is the first time that he's really twigged and gone, actually, my days are nearly done? I mean, we talked about this on text.
He shouldn't.
I was going to say, we talked about this on text about Andy Murray in the tennis. Wimbledon's obviously just started. He's pulled out of the Wimbledon's singles, but he's had a period of years, multiple tournaments, his injuries and failings. Obviously, Ronaldo hasn't had that, but almost with Andy Murray, it's a little bit like, oh, Andy, maybe you should stop. We've still got great memories, but do you think this is the beginning of that for Ronaldo?
Well, one big difference there is tennis is an individual sport, isn't it? That's a key difference here. And I think Ronaldo is seeing it as an individual sport, potentially.
Yes. I think if you were watching this and you didn't know who Ronaldo was and you watched the Portugal games, you'd say, oh, he's a pretty solid centre forward. But it's hard not to watch it through the lens of this. I'm watching Ronaldo. I'm watching Elvis. And I think it's almost the same for Ronaldo. He's watching himself as like, I am Cristiano Ronaldo. Whereas if he was, I don't know, Grant Holt, he would say, I had a pretty decent game. I impacted that game.
Yeah.
Oh, he's come back.
Shout out to Grant Holt.
He's come back.
So going back to
he's playing in the third person almost, isn't he? I'd love, John, just a quick word from you on Slovenia. You were beating that drum at the beginning. What happened? I'll
tell you what. So this afternoon I watched stage 4 of the Tour de France. Okay, and they went up the Col de Galibier at the end, which is an iconic mountain pass. 1K from the top of that climb, a young Slovenian by the name of Tadej Pogačar surged ahead in his wistful panache and won the stage by nearly a minute and took the yellow jersey. And it was a Slovenian at the absolute peak of the sport. Before that, he'd had a team around him who worked like terriers to lead him up to that point. Unfortunately, the Slovenian football team are a group of amazing terriers, but when it came to stepping up for those penalties, none of them had the class, the mindset, the poise. They'd never been there before, the finishing, and they were all savable penalties. And even Chesko's chance one-on-one, he just, at that point, he unfortunately just looked a bit lost. There we go.
It was one mountain too high for this Slovenian team.
What do they say on commentary? They've got it's a really low amount of registered footballers. It's like very, very low. So it's remarkable how well they did, I think.
Yeah. Amazing. And it has been a great tournament to borrow a phrase from the cricketing world, the associate nations, if I may, the sort of the Romanians, the Ukrainians, Slovenians, they've really made this tournament.
Are any left now? What's the state of play? Are they all?
Well, the Netherlands beat Romania 3-0, and there's a game currently being played, Turkey-Austria. So, but it's been wonderful. And obviously, I suppose we've got that on England's side of the draw. You've had a lot of those, whereas on the Spain and France side of the draw, it's very much sort of international Super League, isn't it? So
the pedigree.
It's just nice. It's the pedigree.
The pedigree bracket.
I'd love to pose a question to you both. Who has a harder job, or who is in the worst position? And that is Gareth Southgate or Robert Martinez. You've got the England manager, star quality, squad depth, amazing, but he cannot get them singing, or Martinez. Portugal squad, depth, a significant star power that he cannot seem to leave out. Which manager would you rather be, Ashley Taylor?
Roberto Martinez, easily.
Yeah.
Even if he gets sacked from this Portugal job, he's going to land on his feet. Don't you worry. He'll turn up at, I don't know, name a reasonably big club somewhere. Ajax. He'll go manage Ajax or something afterwards. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gareth, who's he managing?
Well, I don't know. I do think Martinez is incredibly overrated. He's basically one of those good pundits who shouldn't be a manager. Like, he can probably analyze games really well, see things, whatever. But when it comes to leadership, I'm not sure he's got it. Yeah. Does he have the King Canutes to sub Ronaldo? I don't think so. What I will say about Southgate is when you look at what happened with, I think he's an Arsenal player, Bukayo Saka. When you look at what happened with Saka, right? After Saka missed that penalty, right? Who had his arm around Saka? It was Gareth Southgate. And I know it's said a lot that he's built a good relationship with the players, but he has earned the right then to move Saka around. So I don't know, Southgate's built like a different kind of long-term relationship, whereas Roberto Martinez is like a terrible management consultant who you pay more, you think will come in and, you know, give you tactics, give you analysis, whatever, but actually he doesn't really do much. He just comes up with a load of PowerPoints.
Is he a new age Big Sam? Is that what you're saying?
New age Big Sam. That's not a thing, is it?
Let's move on. Let's move on because we've had some great conversations on text this week about all sorts of different things, which we are going to dive into next. So it'd be great to have an extended conversation like we did on text about football kits. We were talking about the country's kits, and we had a lovely little natter about kit manufacturers and countries that just go together, that just are a match made in heaven. Who did we come up with? We had Hummel and Denmark, didn't we? Who else did we have?
Mm-hmm. Well, we had
Kappa in Italy.
Exactly, which... Yeah, but who made this Italy kit? It wasn't.
Adidas.
Yeah, that's not right. See, that's where the problem lies. I don't mind if you... Obviously, not every country is going to have a famed kit manufacturer brand. However, what you can't have is those huge juxtapositions. And what you can't have is missed open goals where you have your own iconic manufacturer and you're not using them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care how much Adidas are going to pay you.
Shirts have got to have soul.
Yeah. They've got to embody the country, haven't they? They've got to bring that flavour. Like you said,
Cameroon and Puma. Puma's a little bit of an outsider. Cameroon's a little bit of a maverick football nation as well. They go together.
Do you remember their like all-in-one suit, like kind of almost like an athletics leotard thing they had going?
That was banned, and then they had the shirtless,
the sleeveless
shirts, not the
not the
shirtless
shirts. It's not shirts and skins.
Yeah, again,
it's not like
banned. But that drew so much attention to Cameroon, and I don't know, it was just a match made in heaven somehow.
Love that. Yeah, I suppose when you do think of Adidas, though, John, you've got to think of Germany, haven't you?
Well, yeah, that is iconic, and they'll always stick to that, won't they? Thankfully. Yeah. Have they ever had another kit manufacturer? Surely it's just been Adidas the whole way.
That's a good question. That's a very good question. When it comes to England, who's the kit manufacturer for you? I've got one in mind.
Yeah, you're going to say Umbro.
Yeah, Umbro. Absolutely.
I do. I think I probably agree, but are they even a company anymore? Are they profitable?
They make Bournemouth kits.
You get them at Sports Direct.
Yeah.
Umbro stuff.
Yeah, well, I prefer Umbro. I mean, Nike are always fine. They're going to be, to an extent, quite slick, to an extent cool, but boring.
But yeah, and I think Umbro is quite nice. It's a good story. Two brothers that put that together, and
I think
we'll do like
what I mentioned. I don't want is Castore. God, that stuff's crap.
Yeah. I tell you what, Romania look good in the Joma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like Joma. Norwich playing Joma.
Oh, do they? Maybe they do yellow kits well.
Yeah. And France have had quite a few kits and things with Adidas, with Nike, but obviously the big one for them is Le Coq Sportif, and those amazing kits from the 90s, early 2000s.
I need that again, to be honest. They could even come out in like a Lacoste tracksuit or something. I mean, they've got some good fashion heritage in France that they're not using well enough there. They don't need to pay big anks.
Chanel.
Use your own heritage.
Chanel. Yeah, like PSG have been doing the sort of the Y3 collaborations, and they've been having a kit for Chinese New Year and all sorts, Air Jordan, all that kind of stuff. It's all crazy. Well, lovely. It's just nice to do that. And obviously, last week I was wearing the England '98 shirt. This week I've got my Dutch training shirt from 1819. So, when it comes to international shirts, I've run out. So if you're listening to this and you'd love to send us some football shirts, John's got his Arsenal one on. Just get in touch at the
Le Coq Sportif. Get in touch.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yes, please.
Gola.
I'd love one of them. Turam on the back or something.
I have been looking at the Zidane '98 France shirt.
That'll cost you.
Well, yeah, it will. Well, I thought, why don't we finish today's pod? Because last week we had a bit of a break with Who Am I? But let's bring it back. We've got our competition. We've got our scores. Alfie isn't here. So what we're going to do is next time he's here, we will... he's going to get 2. So he's going to get 2 bites of the cherry. But I'm going to keep the people that I've got on my list for both of you guys. Okay, so... and I think it's... John, you're in the lead. Views. Yeah, John, you're in the lead with 3, aren't you? You're in the lead with 3 because you had Ronaldo last time. You got it off the first clue.
Yeah, that wasn't
Ash,
open goal.
You got Luke Shaw.
That was
on your second one. So just a quick reminder of the rules. So it's Who Am I? I'm going to give you 3 facts. If you can guess it from the first fact, you get 3 points. Guess it from the second one, 2 points. If you get it from the last one, 1 point. So, as I say, Alfie's not here. He's currently on 0 points. He would have started off. And I thought a great one for him, but we'll find that out next time. But John, who am I? I've scored in 2 Euros finals, 2008 and 2012. And I was on the winning side both times.
Okay, so I'm Spanish. Oh, okay. I'm thinking Torres.
Would you like another clue?
I'm thinking Torres. I'm thinking Fabregas, maybe. David Villa. Oh. Do I roll the dice? If I roll the dice, that's it. I'm gone.
Yes. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'll play it safe. I'll have clue 2.
Great. I want conviction. Clue 2. I have my first name tattooed on my left forearm in the language Tengwa, a language created by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Whoa. I had no idea any of that Spanish team were big Tolkien fans.
How's your Spanish
That
tattoos,
doesn't seem
John?
right to me. That does not seem right. All right.
Making any guesses at this point?
Well, look, I'm still going with thinking Torres, David Villa.
Well, you can make a guess at any point.
Fabregas.
You can make a guess at
any
any
of
point.
them are into Lord of the Rings.
Sounds like my kind of player.
Right.
Are you going to make a guess, or are you going to go for the last clue?
Last clue.
Last clue. My club teams include Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, Chelsea, and AC Milan.
It's the first name I said, for crying out loud, wasn't it? Is it Fernando Torres?
It is Fernando Torres.
I should have gone for it. Should have just gone for it.
Who knew he was such a Tolkien head?
That clue took me back. That clue did me damage. I shouldn't have taken that clue because that is a confusing one.
Well, it's quite a big tattoo on his forearm. Like if you think, in context, a lot of players
Even
have
bigger now.
sleeves.
He's very muscly.
He is. He and Mesut Ozil, gym buddies.
Is it like the Spanish translation of Tolkien? Like what?
No. It is like Tengwar is something he's come up with. Tolkien's come up with. So
it's deep lore. This is proper. Like
it's like
beyond the films, like book lore.
But appendices 17 or something.
Wow.
Anyway, so John, that takes you to 4 points in total in the league. So you're two ahead of Ash.
That's fine, I suppose. I'll take it.
Ash, within touching distance. And it is now ready for your Who Am I? I scored a golden goal penalty against Portugal at Euro 2000.
Oh. Was that the only year they had golden goal as well?
I don't know, but we should bring that back.
I think it was like one of the only Euros.
I'm going to say Emmanuel Petit. And I'm going to actually stick with that.
This is high roll. Please, come on.
That is incorrect. But I feel like maybe we should...
That was out there.
Play on, but I don't get any points.
Don't get any points. We're going to... Maybe we should... I don't know. I'm sticking with it. Emmanuel Petit is incorrect. Incorrect. But it is. He is from the same country. Next
give us
clue.
A clue too.
Next
roll
clue.
Roll them out.
At Euro 2004, I scored a free kick and a penalty in the same game against England. So that was a free kick and a penalty.
Is it Zidane?
Yeah.
It is Zidane. Zizou.
That was a great free kick, that was.
Yeah. And the last clue was my club team.
You curled it across.
Cannes, Bordeaux, Juventus, Real Madrid. Wow. Maybe
going for the big money.
Yeah. Well, I like that. Ash showing us his cojones and going for it.
I wish I'd done it. I don't have the canutes.
I just had this vision of Emmanuel Petit, ponytail, knocking one in.
Yeah.
That's the vision.
Especially in golden goal. Scrappy. But
incorrect. So long hair, he had no hair, this player.
Yeah. Quite the opposite. Maybe we should next time.
He might have had a dusting in 2000. I think he had a dusting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on that note, we're going to bid you farewell. We're going to Auf Wiedersehen, and we are going to see you all next time for the Mervyn League podcast. England against Switzerland. We're going to have some other tasty games to dissect when we come back. But guys, John, Ash, thank you so much. Alfie, we miss you. And that is all for this week. Goodbye.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.